I haven't run a car with a mechanical speed controller since back in the early 90s. I had several vintage cars from the late 80s into the early 90s, but I always replaced the mechanical speed controllers with a electronic speed controller. Now this is a vintage Traxxas Fortec. Thank you, Wade Skelton, for sending this out to my channel. At any rate, you can see here it has the stock manual speed controller. Now it's been years since I've run one of these, so I needed a little bit of a refresher, and I wasn't finding a good one online on how to hook one of these up. And hopefully this video helps some of you guys out there if you're looking to run a vintage car with a manual speed controller on how to connect it. So with the manual speed controller, you'll have a couple wires, 2 wires coming off. They're real straightforward. For the motor, you have your positive and negative. You also have your lead to the battery. I replaced the stock Tamiya connector with this EC5 just because that's what I'm running on some of my batteries. And you'll have connectors to run into the receiver. For this here is the steering. This servo here is for the throttle. And the third wire, which is over here, this one here is the power wire. So I'm going to be running a Dumbo RC receiver. These are really inexpensive, but they're known to be quite good. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug the steering servo into number 1, the throttle servo into number 2, and we're going to put the power lead into number 6. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and connect the battery. Now what I'm going to do is plug the power lead into slot number 6, the steering servo into slot number 1, and the throttle servo into slot number 2. So here is the power lead. Black wires are going to go on the right side, so we're going to plug that in. Here is the throttle servo wire. Again, black wires to the right. This is going in slot number 2. And then lastly, we're going to put the steering servo in slot number 1. Alright, there we go. And plug this in. Alright, now what I'm going to have to do is adjust the throttle trim. So when I turn this knob, it adjusts the servo, and I want it in the neutral point, which is right there. So now when I go forward, it starts to go. Goes full speed, and I have reverse. Now what looks like is happening now is when I give it throttle, it's too touchy. So I'm going to turn down the throttle trim here so I don't get so much throw on the servo. I just want to be able to get full throttle. There we go. We'll leave it right about there. And the steering. Now the same thing with the steering. I'm going to turn down the steering trim. There we go, that's plenty. It was actually binding before because I was getting too much. Alright, there we go. So everything is connected and we're ready to give this thing a run. The Fortec is ready to rip. I'm just going to tidy up these wires and stay tuned for a speed run / shakedown run with the stock Fortec with the manual speed controller. We'll see how it performs. Alright, thanks for watching. Please give me a like and subscribe. Take care.